So I'm here and very happy to welcome you to the 35th Annual Joint Colloquium. And of course, we're hosting it here at the World Bank Group headquarters, which is also known as the ICSID headquarters. And for those of you who are arbitrators and practitioners here at ICSID, you know the facilities quite well. This is the 35th edition of this conference and very much a testament to the long-standing partnership of the three institutions that host it, the ICC's International Court of Arbitration, the AAA's ICDR, and ICSID. And I'd like to thank my colleagues here for their cooperation and for this long-standing collaboration that we have. We have a terrific program here today, and I am delighted to begin by introducing our keynote speaker, Diella Jimenez Figitus. Ms. Figitus has served in a number of key positions in Costa Rica, including as the advisor to the first Vice Presidency of Costa Rica, advisor to the Minister of the Treasury, and parliamentary advisor. In July of this year, she was sworn in as Costa Rica's Minister of Foreign Trade. And in that portfolio, she's responsible for Costa Rica's foreign trade policies and foreign investment policies. So both a very big and a very important portfolio to hold. Among her responsibilities in this job, she is leading Costa Rica's accession to the OECD. And upon acceding, Costa Rica will join Chile, Mexico, and Colombia as the only Latin American countries who are members of the OECD. This, of course, is yet another testament to the forward-looking track record of Costa Rica, including with respect to education, healthcare, the environment, the economy, and governance. And all of these, of course, have led Costa Rica to be ranked first in what's known as the Happy Planet Index. That, of course, recognizing its superb record in sustainable development, and also to be the 13th ranked country in the world on the Happiness Index. And if you have ever had the pleasure of visiting Costa Rica, I think you sort of recognize why it's so high up on the happiness index. When you arrive, you think, how could you not be happy in a place that's paradise like this? So it's all very much understandable. In addition to all of these achievements, Minister Figitus is the perfect keynote speaker because she has expertise in international arbitration. And as you know, she's a recognized expert in our field and has served at various points in her career as an arbitrator, a counsel, and a professor of law. She was instrumental in promoting the introduction of alternate dispute resolution for domestic disputes in Costa Rica in 1997, and was a founding member of the ICC's Latin American Arbitration Group. So those are among the many accolades, and we could not think of a better person to open our conference today. And so, Minister Figitus, thank you so much, and please, I'd like to turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, and good morning. Meg Kinnear, Secretary General of ICSID, Alexis Moore, President of ICC International Court of Arbitration, Eric Tuckman, Vice President of ICDR, distinguished colleagues and friends. It is a privilege to join you for the 35th Annual Joint Colloquium on International Arbitration and to address such a notable group of professionals who are contributing to shape the course of international arbitration. Today, I will address arbitration from a policymaker's angle on two main aspects. First, I want to share with you what I consider are key factors that governments take into account when designing public policy around FDI, foreign direct investment, in particular from Costa Rica's perspective. Secondly, I will share some questions that I think will contribute to the discussion around the new design of ISDS, some of which, of course, you yourselves have been asking for some time. My message to you comes at challenging times for policymaking, and not so long ago, the world faced similar conditions. In December of 1991, the dissolution of the Soviet Union, which marked the end of the Cold War, thrusted states in a new world order, and thus began a period characterized by dramatic changes in the political climate and a readjustment of economic and political power. To make sense of the unfamiliar, experts describe the world after the Cold War with the term VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. The term has regained meaning today and accurately depicts humanity's present trial. I will not delve into the elements that create this VUCA environment, as they are surely familiar to this audience. But the fact is that it is difficult to foresee how political, economic, or commercial incidents in different countries, far and near, will impact our own countries, our own people, and of course, businesses. At the same time, citizens and consumers have become more demanding to a large extent thanks to technological breakthroughs. This has pushed companies to conduct themselves under different rules. Indeed, for companies to brave new challenges, the business community coined the term quantum company. That is, a business that will thrive in this new paradigm and despite VUCA. It is accepted that if companies adhere to values such as coherence, integrity, transparency, and responsibility, they will be more successful in today's markets. Conduct such as the sharing of information, empowerment of workers, simplification of rules, speedier interactions, rethinking hierarchical relations within companies, and increasing collaborative spaces provide companies with the required gear to make decisions at a rapid pace that satisfy consumer demands. In this context, a question that arises is there such a thing as a quantum state? What is required for states to build strong foundations that can resist the VUCA context and at the same time cater to the also growing demands of their citizens? The degree to which governments are able to adopt values such as coherence, integrity, transparency, and responsibility will likely affect their legitimacy and at the same time the actual functioning of the state in the increasingly complex scenario that is the global economy. So let us take the example of FDI attraction policies of my own country, Costa Rica. Flows are at a historic turning point and seemingly moving away from greenfield to other modes with less social impact. Also, apparently returning from emerging countries to the more developed world. Together with transformations stemming from the digital economy, robotics, automation, AI, and other related technological megatrends, the VUCA context requires that states design and implement the right mix of policies to turn challenges into renewed growth opportunities. Indeed, states are competing against one another for FDI flows and need to be sure that they increase their participation in their global value chains. What should a small country such as Costa Rica do under the circumstances, and what is it doing? First, in order to build a competitive value proposition to attract investment, we have identified what our competitive advantages are, and we know that we need to invest in them. Surely size is not one of them. Human talent, reputation, and stability are. So our budget, of course, needs to reflect these priorities to begin with. Also, we have defined the target type and quality of investments the country wishes to attract in accordance with our own identity, which means that, in particular, respect for the environment and labor policies will be at the core of our FDI design. In addition, we must tackle unequal distribution of investment gains within our own territory, and this is not particular to Costa Rica. We are working on ways to define new and more productive agriculture activities that will be successful in the international markets, for example, and it has to do with articulating and coordinating different state entities. And finally, we must continue with the modernization of administrative barriers that affect trade facilitation. In this sense, the OECD accession process is crucial in the modernization of our own state. Secondly, precisely because of our characteristics, we must further deepen the country's open trade policy. Costa Rica has FTAs with China, Europe, and the United States, one of the few countries in the region to have such free trades. We have negotiated successfully a total of 14 FTAs with a total of 50 trading partners that represents 2/3 of global GDP and 2.5 billion potential consumers around the world. This, of course, provides companies with a robust platform for export and import. And we take pride on how we have been able to take advantage of free trade, converting it into one of the key drivers of our social and economic development. And we still have to do much more. We are increasingly diversifying our export mix, which is currently almost 50-50 goods and services, higher than the OECD average of 27%. Surely we need to do more, of course, as I said, to be certain that we become an even more diversified economy and that we leverage risks arising from the VUCA context, which you can imagine. Third, the final foundation relates to the defense of international law. As a small economy, Costa Rica believes that international law and rules are the key to leveling the playing field among the different actors in international trade. We advocate multilateralism and the use of the dispute settlement mechanisms at hand to resolve differences as an honest broker that knows that the system works. Dear colleagues, if I have made an attempt to transfer the values of coherence, integrity, transparency, and responsibility from quantum companies to quantum states, how can we build quantum arbitration? Is the final question. What do we need to do to design an international arbitration system that can adapt to the changing needs of the different stakeholders and at the same time offer the required predictability and credibility? Discussions around these questions have gone on for some time now, and some policymakers are submitting proposals of wide range to modify ISDS. A possible scenario is that we will find ourselves in the short or middle term with two regimes of ISDS, where some treaties provide for the establishment of a permanent body and others will carry on with the current system. This will certainly allow us to contrast and compare which of the regimes offers better responses to the concerns of inconsistency in the decisions, lack of transparency and accountability, and high amounts of awards and costs of proceedings. But I wonder, will either of these systems really be a quantum arbitration system? In order to answer this, I actually will offer more questions, and I submit must be considered in the debate. And I am sure, of course, as I said in the beginning, they have been present for some time now. Who should participate in the design of the renewed system? Are businesses having a voice in this debate? Or is it only the concern of the states? If inconsistency and accountability are major preoccupations, do not they affect companies' decisions as to where to invest, and who are voicing these concerns? Second, an old question already, do we need an appellate body? Would not this provide coherence? But if so, who should integrate such a court? Who should design it and define the applicable rules? And would cases take way too long for the system to be an attractive one for FDI? If these solutions, such as the appellate body or the permanent courts, end up proving too burdensome, will this drive investors to local courts instead? Local judiciaries are already becoming more modern as they implement technological solutions. Will they become more competitive among one another? Is this a trend that has already begun? Is this a good trend? Other issues must be considered as well. For example, must we cap orders and decisions on damages? Or do we need to certify arbitrators? If so, which solution is best placed to offer, which institution is the best place to offer such a certification? Finally, the old question is, should we prescribe double hatting, for example? But after laying these queries that are more generic and in more general terms, I actually commend ICSID, the ICC, and ICDR for designing a program not around those questions, but rather around issues such as ethical conduct of counsel, handling of strategic communications, the manner in which cross-examinations are conducted, and enforceability of the awards. These matters also lie at the core of legitimacy and credibility of international arbitration. After all, is it not through higher standards and better decisions that we will really improve international arbitration? Thank you.